Hello and welcome to our virtual visit day for our Western Equestrian program. We're really happy that you guys are joining us. We're just going to wait a few minutes to make sure that everybody can get logged on. Out here in Findlay right now, it's a little bit snowy. You know, it's kind of nice that we're doing a virtual visit day today because the weather is a little bit sticky out there. We got a little bit of a surprise springtime snowstorm, but everything's still going. All the animals are still, doing great. Today we're gonna kind of talk about, the Western Equestrian program, the teams. We're gonna have a student Q&A session. We're gonna have a faculty Q&A session and a faculty information session. I'll introduce all of those people shortly. I just kind of want to see, so when you guys want to ask questions, there's a little Q&A thing at the bottom there. Don't use the chat feature, use the Q&A. And to test this out, I want to see where are you guys all coming from. I want to see who is the furthest away from Findlay, Ohio. So use that Q&A feature and tell me where you're from. Northern Ohio, Chicago, Michigan, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, South Carolina. We actually have a couple people from Canton, Michigan. Are you guys in the same room? Indiana. Very good. Do we have any New Englanders out there? Any West Coasters out there? Northern Ohio. Got a lot of Northern Ohio, some locals. If you're in Northern Ohio, have you guys been to the University of Findlay? Chicago. Lots of people from Chicago. Very cool. All right. We're just going to give it a few more minutes, make sure that everybody can get logged in here. We're really excited for this. This is our first time doing a virtual visit day. We're very happy that you guys are joining us. I will get going with introductions here in just a few minutes. But keep on, tell me where you're coming from. Sandusky, Ohio. Oh, so you haven't been to the University of Findlay? Well, we would love to have you come visit. All right. Very good. Keep on coming in with those where you're from. Looks like we're still getting a few more people logging on here, so we're just going to give it a couple more minutes. We want to make sure that everybody gets to hear what our faculty and our students have to say. So once again, I'm just going to explain. If you guys have a question, please use the Q&A section down below on the bottom of your screen. Just click Q&A. Don't use the chat feature. The Q&A is a little bit easier for us to use. So make sure you guys understand how to use that. You guys can type something to me now if you'd like to test it out. Make sure you know how to use that. Very good. So you guys, so when we get started here, you guys can type questions anytime. We're going to try to answer the questions at the end after the information session. If there's a pertinent question that needs to be asked right in the middle of the info session, we will answer that for you. But all right. Say one more minute. All right. So I'm just going to kind of start to introduce who we have here today. On your left, this is Mary Marsh. She is the Director of Equestrian Studies and Equine Management. And on your right is Art O'Brien. He's the Director of our Western Equestrian Program. So they're both here to chat with you today, give you some information about our equestrian programs, about our teams, and what it is like to be an Oiler equestrian. I will introduce our students after the faculty info session. So enjoy, send us your questions. We'll be happy to answer them. We'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, hello everybody. As Brandon mentioned, my name is Mary Marsh. I'm the director of the equestrian department, and I'm also a riding instructor for the Western program. And in addition to that, Art and I both are also graduates of the equestrian program. So we have a unique perspective that we can bring to you today. We're going to start by just giving you a general overview of our equestrian department and what we offer, and then we'll go much more in depth into a year-by-year review of our Western riding program. So the Equestrian Studies Department, we have 3 programs of study. We offer a Bachelor of Science degree in Equestrian Studies with a Western training emphasis, Equestrian Studies with an English training emphasis, and Equine Business Management. So we also offer associate's degrees in Western and English Equestrian Studies. Our Bachelor of Science degrees are 4-year programs, and our associate's degrees can be done in 2 years. All of our equestrian students take the same equine science-based core curriculum. So those classes involve equine science, horse judging, equine nutrition, and equine reproduction. And we know that it's very important for all of our students to have a strong fundamental knowledge of those areas, no matter what part of the horse industry they're ultimately going to be involved in. And depending on if a student is a Western or an English equestrian, they also have a 5-day-a-week intense riding program. So our students are in a riding class 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. They ride multiple horses. And like I mentioned before, we're going to go into that more in depth year by year in just a couple minutes. Equine business management students are not required to take riding classes. Their emphasis courses involve equine focused business courses, and it gives them a strong business background as professionals in this industry that might own their own business or work in a business related to the equine industry. And in addition, all of our equestrian students also take 12 hours of equine electives. And we offer a really wide variety of possible equine electives for students to take. And it's really cool because students can kind of tailor their education based on where their interests lie. So for example, if we have a student that's interested in therapeutic riding, that student would probably take EQST 103, which is Intro to Equine Assisted Therapies, for one of their electives. And in that course, students are introduced to Challenge Champions Equestrian Center, which is just outside of Findlay, and that's our local therapeutic riding facility. Students do volunteer work there. There's lots of internship opportunities to be had there, and we do offer internship for credit for another equine elective. So that's just an example of how a student can really follow their interests and tailor their education here towards that. So I think with that, we can maybe start talking more specifically about the Western riding program, and we'll go year by year, starting with the freshman year.
Hello, everyone. I'm Art O'Brien. I'm the director of the Western program. And in addition to that, I've been a professional horseman for about 40 years in the industry, active AQHA judge. I teach the freshman, the sophomore year colt breaking, and the junior year throughout the time here. You know, to start with the freshman year is an exciting year for us, for the students to come in. They're here 5 days a week from 2 to 5. You're assigned a horse. First, you're evaluating your riding, and you're assigned a horse appropriate to your riding level. And that's how we kind of work it with the number of students coming in from various different levels, the horses that you're assigned to. So the more challenging horse, maybe the upper level rider may get, etc. You'd ride that horse every day for about an hour a day with instruction. The schooling that you would have are drills that you'll be working on, and basically utilizing those drills for the 4 years that you're here, whether you're colt breaking the following year or whether you're working at upper level maneuvers following that. You'll learn a lot of different exercises and drills, and also the instructors work on your riding form and your feel and your balance and your talent in regards to the riding, and perfect that. They spend a lot of time one-on-one with you. You ride in individual groups, depending on the size of the class. 5 to 10 people in each group. So you get a lot of attention with the instructors that are there. Clark Bradley, Spencer Zimmerman, and Mark Smith are the instructors for the freshman year. Freshman year is definitely a necessary building block to give you the tools to be able to move on to the exciting year of the sophomore year.
The sophomore year, we break colts, and that's a really exciting, it's a really interesting year for all of our students. Colt breaking is a skill that for Western equestrians is very, very important to be developed, and that's why we do it as early as our second year. And one thing we haven't really talked about yet is the Western program owns over 100 horses right now. That's school-owned horses, and these horses are used in their freshman program and in other years as well. Something that's different for sophomores, though, is that a lot of sophomores ride horses that are not owned by the university, but are owned by people in the community that put them in training with the university in their Send Your Horse to College program. So our sophomore students they're assigned to 1 or 2 colts for a semester. These horses have not been rode yet, and our students are taught all of the groundwork steps, all the fundamentals that are necessary to start introducing them to riding, and then put the first few rides on them. And by the end of the semester, in 90 days of riding, our horses are walk, trot, loping, doing maneuvers, and actually showing in a horse show for our final exam. So there's a lot of progression during sophomore year. I love watching the students develop the courage and the necessary skills to work with unbroke horses. And the level of confidence that our students gain from that is just, it's remarkable. It's really interesting to watch. So our sophomore class is taught by Art O'Brien. It's also taught by Mark Smith, Jerry Coleman, and Randy Wilson. So we have 4 instructors working in that class to make sure that our students get a lot of supervision and a lot of one-on-one help. We have the ability to set up round pen areas for students to work with these horses so they have their own area to progress in those early days. And they're using horses, like I mentioned, that are from the community and sent here for training. So our students interact with the horses' owners and learn the very important skills of customer relations and how to talk to potential clients and horse owners and teach them about what you're doing with their horse. So it's an excellent year. We all love sophomore year. It's one of the most exciting things we do out here. And I think that, I mean, if I just, from my personal perspective, I think that our students' rate of progression during sophomore years is maybe the greatest. Like what they can learn between, starting in August and finishing in December is just incredible. And the same for the spring semester. So this year, our second semester sophomores, so spring semester sophomores, for the first time ever, we were able to assign each sophomore 2 colts to ride. And that was like the first time we've ever done that, but it was a really great experience. Our students got twice the amount of hands-on experience and learned about twice the amount of issues or problems a horse could possibly have in the early stages of training. And we had no negative feedback from any student or owner or anybody. It was a wonderful experience. I hope we can do that kind of colt breaking second semester in the future where our students each have 2 horses to ride, because it's really a unique and really, really valuable experience.
So before I start into junior year, one of the true uniquenesses of the program is the Send Your Horse to College program that Mary just mentioned. And I'll elaborate a little bit more on that. It started back at the inception of the program many, many years ago because they didn't have enough horses here for us to ride. And they ran an ad in the local newspaper, just send your horse to college. Well, that gave us horses to ride the first few years of the program back in the 70s. Since then, it's transformed into a wonderful thing for the community. Actually, we get horses from Canada, from all over the United States to break out all different levels. We get thoroughbreds in that are going to go onto the track. We get some hunters that go into the hunter ring and various other Western disciplines, of course, because that's what we're kind of famous for, the Western disciplines. The bonds, though, that those students make with those Send Your Horse to College clients still amaze me to this day. For instance, 2 students that broke out colts this spring, the owners of those, and the owners had never met them before the first of the year, they decided to send their horses home with the students with this COVID outbreak. And they're training them themselves for the next month while they're home and not here at the university. So that's kind of cool that they really do make great future clients for the students, the owners of the Send Your Horse to College program. So during the junior year, it's a culmination of a number of different activities for the juniors. It's definitely time concentrated. The juniors ride 3 to 4 horses a day. They're out here for 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. They take specialty groups in cutting, Western riding, trail, lead changing, horsemanship, and some Western pleasure. They ride the school horses for the specialty school horses that are excellent show horses in those divisions. But in addition to that, they have 2 senior horse to college horses that they're bringing on. They're not usually unbroke horses. They're horses either with problems or just need to be progressed further to a higher level. And they're learning the skills on those other horses during junior year to progress them. One thing that we haven't mentioned yet are how the testing works. So a lot of the testing throughout the first 3 years are, about every 3rd week we have a riding test, and it's a training test. It's not necessarily totally a show-based test. It's training the horse in what we've taught the students to progress the horse to do. In addition to that, the specialty groups have tests on those specialty events every 3 weeks during the junior year. And then probably the most exciting part of the year, the finals for each of the years. And we have about a week and a half long horse show that we bring outside judges in, but we grade the students independently of their placings at the horse show, and they show their project horses here for finals week each semester. So that's kind of an exciting part of the program also, that you get some experience on showing that horse with truly no consequences financially, but to be graded for. And that's a great experience for the young horse trainers to have.
Yeah, I think those final exam horse shows are great. Like Art's saying, it's a great experience for so many levels, but our students they learn how to show. And showing is a big part of our industry, whether people want to do it as professional or stay as an amateur, as non-pro, or not show after they leave Findlay. Learning how to display your work and show your horse's progression is a valuable tool, and it does show the amount of confidence that our students gain by going through these semesters in our riding courses. So I think that we take our final exam horse shows very seriously. The grading that we do is separate from the outside judging that happens during those shows. We grade our students based on their progression through the semester, and we know where they're at and what they've done. The outside judge who's looking at this with a completely different perspective is evaluating our students against the standard, an industry standard. So our grading is separate from the placings, but we do have nice prizes, and we do invite the community and the public to come in and watch these horse shows, and it's really a good time for everybody out here in the program. So senior year, I teach the seniors. In addition, I work with Jerry Coleman and Clark Bradley. So the 3 of us teach the seniors. And senior year, we focus on 3 disciplines specifically. We focus on reining, Western pleasure, and ranch riding. Now, I think you can probably tell already from what Art talked about with the freshmen and the juniors, we cover a lot of riding disciplines here in the Western program. And we cover all of the most important areas that we feel are foundational for every discipline that you're going to do in the Western world. But we have different years for focusing on specific disciplines, and we choose the reining and the Western pleasure and the ranch riding for senior year because those 3 areas are really show a lot of growth in our industry, and also kind of show the culmination of our curriculum in our final year here. I also train reining horses outside of my university obligations, so I'm really passionate about teaching that discipline with my students. The University of Findlay has a long-standing tradition of promoting reining. Some of the earliest reining shows actually were held here in Findlay, and the person that actually founded our equestrian program is also known as the grandfather of reining. So you can see there's a lot of steep tradition with that particular discipline. So senior year, back to senior year, our students are assigned 3 or sometimes 4 horses each. And they have a horse that's used for all those disciplines. So they'll have a reining horse that's owned by the school, a Western pleasure horse that's owned by the school, and a ranch riding horse that may be owned by the school, or it may be a member of the Send Your Horse to College program. And we divide our weekdays up into group hours in which our students have this very specific instruction on those 3 disciplines. So something that's really unique that we do for our seniors is we work all year long to develop this horse show day during their spring semester, at the end of the spring semester, that's known as their senior day. And we hold some major events that day that our students compete in, and for some very nice prizes, but also for some really nice recognition. on trophies and honors that were donated from outside associations that support our program. For the reining, Dale Wilkinson, who I mentioned as the grandfather of reining and also the founder of the equestrian program, his family sponsors our senior reining final. So it's called the Dale Wilkinson Memorial Reining. And it is held, like I said, the last day of our spring semester, and our students compete in a reining class judged by an NRHA, that's National Reining Horse Association judge. And he comes in and judges our students. And the winner of that class has their name engraved on a trophy that resides here in the main office. And they're also awarded a belt buckle. And then for our Western Pleasure Final, we have a futurity that we actually allow our students to show Western Pleasure horses in. Early in the year, our students go through a selection process where they evaluate young Western Pleasure prospects, and they select which one they'd like to work with for the whole year. And they use that horse in the program under the guidance of Randy Wilson, who's a very, very well-known Western Pleasure horse trainer. And they develop that horse towards the Western Pleasure discipline and also some other all-around disciplines. And then they show that horse on that same day that we hold the reining final. We have a pleasure futurity that's called the Clark Bradley Western Pleasure Futurity, named after our own Clark Bradley and sponsored by the NSBA, the National Snafflebit Association. And the winner of that class has his or her name engraved on that trophy. And also, we've also been able to award very nice prizes for that class, including a saddle that says UF on it. And it's a very nice, very, very nice award. So in addition, we have the full slate of regular classes we would have at our final exam show. Our students have minimums that they have to show in, but most of our students really do love the final exam horse show and will show more times than they have to for their minimums. So it's definitely a nice part of our year.
And following that day is another exciting day for us here. And at the end of the year is an exciting time in general. You know, that's our horse sale. The day after the finals is our horse sale. The horse sale, we sell some number of outside horses for clients that have had the horse in the Senior Horse College program. In addition, we sell a number of our school horses that need to move on, and the young horse, the young Western Pleasure futurity type horses. A lot of the proceeds from that sale go back to the students, go back to the scholarships, and students receive benefit from that. Students, the marketing class, led by Spencer Zimmerman and Jerry Coleman, put together that sale. They run the entire sale and all the marketing for that for the entire semester. You may want to look online for the Findlay horse sale, and you could see previous sales and the video footage that we have. We load every horse up on video with the riding skills that horse has, along with the pedigree, etc. That's an exciting day, and we sell between 40 and 60 horses that day each year.
So just really briefly before we finish this talk, I want to touch on our teams and clubs that we support in this department. The equestrian department oversees 5 riding teams: the IHS Intercollegiate Horse Show Association Western team, IHSA Hunt Seat team. We have an eventing team at the English Farm, a dressage team at the English Farm, and we also have a ranch horse team, which Art O'Brien right here is the head coach of. So for the IHSA teams, if you haven't been familiar with the IHSA format, we have extremely successful teams. Our English and Western teams combined have won a total of 8 national championships, and our Western team just most recently won the national championship back-to-back in 2018 and 2019. So these teams are extremely well known, extremely competitive, and they're another opportunity for our students to really develop their showing skills and abilities. Art, could you talk a little bit about the ranch horse team?
And the ranch horse team develops the students' passion in working with cattle and working in traditional ranch settings. And it teaches a tremendous amount of feel. They work one-on-one with their horses, and we compete against a couple of the schools throughout the year. We basically hold our own horse shows. But it's really for that student that has that cattle passion, working horses in Western tradition.
And so I would say 80% of our equestrian students are on at least one of the equestrian teams, and some students ride on more than one. And it's a very good way for a student that, let's say you're a Western student that has interest in riding English horses as well. You can try out for one of the English teams, and there you have a chance to do it as an extracurricular activity. So we try to keep those options open for everyone. If there's any questions, we're happy to take some questions.
All right, so in the Q&A section, please drop in your questions. All right, we got a couple. Do we have to bring our own riding equipment?
Yes, we have a riding list. Do we have to do you have to bring your own riding equipment? Yes. As you register for the University of Findlay, on our website, there's a list of needed equipment. It all doesn't have to happen the first year, but there's a large number of things that you need to have coming in here. We do not supply any of the equipment for the horses. Yeah.
All right. If you already own a horse, could you bring it to Findlay?
There are opportunities to bring your horse to use in the program. You have to apply to make sure that your horse is suitable for the curriculum of that year. And Art O'Brien, as a director of the Western program, reviews your video and application for your horse to determine if it's suitable to be used as a freshman horse. Art, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, and then following that, a number of parents have been good at marketing also and decided to buy a colt for their child to break out as a sophomore. So that's kind of exciting, and a number of students have done that. You know, we really want the horse freshman year specifically. We want that horse to be adaptable, so you to gain as much knowledge as you possibly can in our program. And so that's what we evaluate. The horse doesn't have to be a total finished horse when I'm watching that video to evaluate. It's more whether it looks like it's willing enough to be appropriate for that class.
And I just want to add to that, you know, if you don't have a horse, do not worry about having to bring one, because you will actually ride a lot more horses if you choose to use our university-owned horses. We have an extensive herd of very talented horses, all different ranges of experience, brokenness, and for different disciplines. So you certainly would not be missing out if you did not bring your own horse.
Okay, piggybacking off of that last question, what is the cost to bring your horse, and what is included in that cost? If your horse needs special accommodations, is the program flexible?
See, what's the cost to bringing the horse in the program? It's right around $500 a month, and that's for complete board for the horse, full care. And then that horse will be utilized by only you in the program. That would not be utilized by any other students unless you chose to move it into an upper class. What was the rest of the question?
If the horse needs special accommodations, will the program accommodate?
We have a number of different horses on supplements specifically, but we really try to feed our same alfalfa hay, mixed hay, and grain. We do try to accommodate the best we possibly can, but we keep it within the realm of our feeding program.
What are the costs of being on the teams and clubs?
So the IHSA team, there are no additional costs outside of your own apparel, your clothing, and requirements for that. And you do have to meet certain requirements for that. But as far as the IHSA team that team is completely sponsored and supported by the university for entry fees, and there's no charge for practices or things like that. The other teams are all club sports for the university. So they do have a moderate budget, but there's also more extensive fundraising done and some additional costs for that type of competition.
But more specifically in regards to club sports, it's $40 a year for a rider to ride in a club sport. So that's the total expense for that rider for the year in regards to the Ranch Horse Club.
And I didn't mean to say that. IHSA also does do their own fundraising as well. So all teams are involved in fundraising activities to support some team activity and to build some camaraderie around that community as well.
Can animal science students join the teams?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, any student on campus. I have right now on the Ranch Horse team, I have 1 pharmacy student, 11 animal science students, and the balance of the 24 in the team are equestrian students. But in last year we had an education major. We have various other majors that have the passion in horses. We have a tryout, and the tryout is evaluating how the rider rides the horse over a specific pattern. And we evaluate feel, we evaluate balance, try to evaluate desire. And we're very fair in our selection of the team. But about 75 students last year tried out for the 24 slots on the team. So we have to be critical, but a number of the students that are not equestrian majors have been on the team.
Is it okay to have no riding experience to be in the Western Equestrian program?
It's definitely okay to have no riding experience. And some of our best students have actually came here with relatively little experience compared to other students. And those students, depending on their their athletic ability, maybe their natural ability, but also their courage and their willingness to learn, these students can really advance. And every year we have students that come here without having very much experience, but have the dream and the aspirations to learn this. And we are happy to teach those students. They're really fun, actually.
What kind of internship opportunities are available through the Western Equestrian program?
We have several different internship programs. One specific one that's unique to us because of our proximity to Columbus, Ohio, is we have offer week-long internships working at the Quarter Horse Congress, and the students working for trainers or other industry professionals there during the month of October for a week. In addition to that, there are more opportunities than we can fill in regards to summer internships working for trainers and associations. We have a number of different alumni that are employed by various associations. So therefore we have some contacts there. And through a couple different feed companies, we have on internships available each year.
Yeah, we try to work with our students one-on-one to really find out where their interests are and try to place them accordingly. But we pretty much never run out of opportunities. We have many more opportunities usually than we have students.
One thing that I didn't mention was all the faculty are professional horsemen that are still active in the industry. As a result of that, the contacts that we make wearing the Findlay garb at the horse show without even wearing it, the contacts that we make regularly, people are approaching us saying, do you have a student to work? Do you have a student to intern? Do you have a full-time student that's graduating that's looking for full-time position? So we have that we're out in the real world and we have those contacts, which sure helps our students.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any horse judging opportunities with the Western program? Or how about a team, and how would I start a team?
So we don't have a team right now. Art actually teaches the horse judging class, and we have actually had recent discussions about expanding that horse judging class and having an upper level elective for a second horse judging class, because we know the value of learning those skills and the opportunities that are out there for students and graduates that actually want to apply for judges' cards. So I think even though we don't have a judging team, that's not to say we aren't going to develop one in the near future. We've had increasing discussions about that. We have had judging teams in the past from the University of Findlay. We've experienced a little bit of some trouble with the season for some of those competitions and where they fall alongside our final exam horse shows. And sometimes there have been some conflicts there, but we're trying to overcome some of that.
Okay, we only have time for one more question. We will respond to your questions individually. So if you did ask a question that didn't get answered live, we will get back to you. So the last question, what classes are mandatory to take at the university in addition to the Western program?
For the equestrian studies degree. So like I talked about earlier, you have to take the equine core class, the equine science-based core classes. That's Intro to Equine Science, Horse Judging, Equine Nutrition, and Equine Reproduction. That's required for your curriculum as an equestrian studies student. In addition, you'll need 4 equine electives, and we have over 40 courses offered for that. Some equine courses, some are animal science courses. There's several courses that you can choose from in that bank of classes. And then as with every other major offered at the university, you have to complete the core plus general education outcomes as well.
All right, so thank you, Mary and Art, for answering questions live for us. Like I said before, we will answer all of the questions you guys asked in our Q&A chat here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn it over to our students. So if our students could join us, we would love to see you guys. And I'm gonna kind of introduce them. So first up on the screen here, this is Bryant Fox. Brian is a senior in the Western Equestrian program. He's a business major and a Western Equestrian major. He also works in our admissions office as a student ambassador. Below Brian, we have Natalie Savannah. She's also, she's a junior in the Western Equestrian program. And she is the secretary of the ranch horse team, correct? Yeah, so she's the secretary. So I also forgot to mention Bryant is a member of the Western IHSA team. And then Jamie has joined us, and Jamie is a senior in the Western Equestrian program, and she's also a senior intern, and she's also a member of the Western IHSA team. So drop in your questions for the students, ask them what it's like to be a student at Findlay, especially in the Western Equestrian program, ask them about their experiences on the teams. They're here for you to ask all those questions, so we can get started with that. And if you guys want, while they're thinking of questions to ask, each of you just kind of want to go through. We'll start with Bryant and just kind of introduce yourself and say a few things.
Okay. Well, like Brandon said, my name is Bryant Fox. I'm a senior here at the University of Findlay, and my double major is Western Equestrian Studies and Business Management. I've really enjoyed my experiences here at Findlay because all the instructors are really well known and really well rounded. They've tried to adapt the program to everything that we want it to be, and I really believe that you get everything out of the program that you put in. Hello, everyone.
I guess I can go next. I'm Jamie. I'm also double majoring with the Western Equestrian Studies and Business Management. I was also the president of the Horse Club, which is an on-campus club. We don't really do a lot hands-on with horses, but it's more of a group of horse-loving people. Member of the Western IHSA team. And then I can't say enough good about the program. I'm one of those students who came in with very little experience, and basically everything I know has come from our program, and I've really grown a lot as a rider and as a person. So, hi everybody.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Savannah. I'm a junior here, and I'm double majoring in Western Equestrian Studies, Equine Business Management, and then I just picked up a minor in marketing. Something that really sticks out to me about this program is the family-like atmosphere that we all have, and how willing all the instructors are to help you. They'll come in early, stay late, and that's just something that really sticks out to me.
Okay, so are one of you guys an equine business management major?
I am.
Okay, do you want to just chat about your experiences with the equine business management program?
Sure. So I am really glad that I decided to have a double major with equine business management, because it gives you not just the training side of the industry, but if you ever want to have your own business or do anything in the business industry of the equine world, that helps you out a lot. You take classes that include equine marketing, you have some accounting classes, business communications, just a bunch of different type of business classes that can help you in your future if you want to do anything business related.
Awesome. Okay, do you recommend double majoring? How is double majoring? Is it strenuous to be a double major in the equestrian program? Start with Brian.
Okay, so I definitely would recommend double majoring. I think it's super important that you get something that if maybe you get injured or the horse industry doesn't work out for you, you have something to fall back on. I chose business because it's something that people will really recognize outside of the industry, but you still get a lot of opportunities to grow as a person. You get a lot of leadership abilities, and the university does a great job of incorporating that into the equine world. Just because you'll tell all your instructors that you're an equine student, and they completely understand, because that is such a big program here at the university. It is a little bit difficult depending on your major. With business, I did transfer in 18 credit hours, so that helped me a lot. I've still had to take the maximum amount of credit hours each semester, which is 18 credit hours, but it's definitely doable. I've still been able to be a part of the IHSA team. I was a part of the horse club, just like Jamie was. And I've taken on other roles too, so I've still had time to work for some of the instructors at the barn and hold down that part-time job on top of it. So it's definitely manageable, and I would definitely encourage it.
Now, Natalie and Jamie, can you talk about your double majors a little bit? I know Natalie did talk about her equine business management, but just kind of talk about how it was to double major with the equestrian program.
Sure. With a lot of the business classes, they're offered at the same time as our barn classes. So that does get a little bit difficult just because of the scheduling conflict. So that might mean in your later years, like in your upperclassmen years, you might have to go out up to the barn a little bit earlier in the morning or more in the afternoon just to get your riding in so you can still ride all your horses every day. But on that note, the instructors at the barn are very accommodating. They'll work with your schedule. They'll try to make sure that you get in all of your groups. As they were talking, Mary and Art were talking earlier, we have individual riding groups. So they still work with you and you still get all of your instruction time in. So it is a little bit difficult there. I was in the same boat as Bryant was with the full schedule every time, 18 credit hours every semester. But if you persevere and you really try and you work with your instructors and your professors, it's very, very doable and very possible. I've always been very involved both on campus and at the barn. As Brandon mentioned earlier, I'm an intern this year for my senior year. So that's an additional 20 hours every week. So it's very doable. You just have to put your mind to it and make it work.
Can you work at the farms? And what kind of duties does that entail? What kind of jobs are offered at the farms?
I can take it if nobody else wants it. So there's a lot of opportunities to work at the barn. We always need people to clean extra stalls. You can clean a work study stall and you get paid half an hour to do that stall, no matter if you clean it in 10 minutes or it takes you an hour. So that's a great way to make a little bit of extra money. A lot of students will pick up additional work weekends, which is a time where each student is required to pick up 3 work weekends over the semester. So that's just working on the weekends to do general farm labor. We have to feed the horses and you get paid for 2 of those and you're graded for 3. So some students will pick up extra ones just to get some extra money. We also have students water the horses around noon every day. So that can be done on the weekends and during the week. There's more opportunities. You can work for instructors. That's kind of separate from the barn. And then your senior year, you can get the senior internship. They pick 4 seniors that work hand in hand with the barn managers. So.
Awesome. Can you guys walk me through a day in the life of a Western equestrian student, let's say freshman year?
Yeah, I can take this one. So freshman year, your barn time is from 2 to 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And most of the time you'll have, depending on how you set your schedule up, it can be different for everybody. But for my personal freshman year, I had like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. classes before the barn. And then I'd go to lunch and then head to the barn until 5. And then most of the time, you don't have on-campus classes after that unless for some reason you have like a night class or something like that, which I never did. And then that would basically be your day. The best part is going to the barn from 2 to 5 and just get your campus classes out of the way in the morning, and then you can spend the rest of your day at the barn, which is so much fun. And then weekends, like Jamie was saying, some weekends you'll have off and you can just go into the barn whenever you'd like and get your horse out that you're assigned to. Or some weekends you'd be working, so that'll fill up your weekend.
Awesome. So Natalie, can you just give me some more info on the ranch horse team and what does a typical show look like on the ranch horse team?
Yeah, so typical show, we have a bunch of different classes, including ranch riding, ranchmanship, ranch trail, ranch pleasure would be all the non-cow classes. And then we also have boxing, step-up boxing, cutting, rein cow horse, reining. So those would be all the classes that we offer during the shows that we hold here at the University of Findlay, which are so much fun. And then also on the team, we try to do at least one away show where we go somewhere as a team and compete against other people, which is a lot of fun because during the school year, we're just kind of riding with each other. So it's fun to be able to compete against other people. And I'm not sure about like specifics with the ranch team. We have practices twice a week, usually once in the morning and once in the afternoon, depending on what day of the week you sign up for. And we just go over a bunch of different skills. You get assigned a ranch horse that you ride that whole semester that's owned by the school. And it's so much fun. You learn so much, I think. You get like some extra tips and stuff that you would get like different than just during your normal class time.
Awesome. So next, thank you, Natalie. Next, Bryant and Jamie, can you just kind of run us through what it's like to be on the IHSA team, the commitments, what it's like to show on that national stage? Let's chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I can take this one. So I am a part of the IHSA team, which is pretty great. I like it because you get a lot of experience on a bunch of different horses that you haven't been on before, potentially. So you do get to ride a lot of horses in the program, but being on the IHSA team, once a week you'll have a practice that you can choose. They might be mornings or afternoons, but you get to pick your practice and you'll ride anywhere from 3 to 5 horses in that practice. You'll get to go on the rail, and it's just like you're showing. So the whole time you're practicing your horsemanship position, you're practicing your field, the techniques to make the horse look better, to make your overall appearance look better with the horse. And it's just a great experience because then you also will not only do the rail work, but you'll do patterns. And the coaches help you through all of it. So they're picking you apart and making you stronger as a rider, and they'll coach you on how you can go through patterns better. Then you also get to show several times throughout the year. We usually have an AM and a PM show on a Saturday. And you might show at both shows, you might not, but you will get to show a lot throughout the course of the year. And then the accumulation of all of your points will decide whether you make it on to regionals. And then if you can get past regionals, you go to semifinals, and then you can go to nationals. And I've been very lucky. I've been to nationals all 4 years. I didn't get to show my freshman year. I just went to help because you do get that opportunity as well. But in my sophomore and junior year, we went to nationals. It was at the Kentucky Horse Park, and then also in Pennsylvania and New York. Actually, I think there's a little bit wrong in there. We did get to go to Pennsylvania at one point, and then New York had nationals, but I wasn't sure where they actually were in terms of whether that was nationals or semifinals. But you get to go to a lot of different places is the main point with that. And showing at nationals is a really cool experience because you get to be in front of a lot of different people. And you really are showing horses that you've never been on before because it's from horses come from a bunch of different schools. But it's been a really good experience for me.
All right, guys, what made you choose the University of Findlay?
I really wish you guys could come and visit because as soon as I visited, I knew I was home. Our facilities are amazing. Our instructors really are like family. It's just, we all form such a tight bond, but no school that I ever went to really compared to Findlay. As soon as I came here, I knew I was home. Just the way that the programs are structured within each year, their building blocks, and they're really structured to make sure that the student is getting the best that they can out of it. The riding 5 days a week was a big selling point for me, in addition to all of the other majors that are offered that really go hand in hand with the equestrian programs.
For me, I chose the University of Findlay actually because of another alumni, Stacy Westfall. I saw her riding bareback and bridleless in 2006, and I did a little bit of research on her, and I decided that if she went to the University of Findlay and she could be that good, maybe I could do that as well. But I also really appreciated when I come to visit that the class sizes are super small. You get a lot of one-on-one instruction from the professors, and the professors are really renowned.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that really sold it for me also, is that all these instructors come from different backgrounds, so you can take all of their different training techniques, their ways of thinking, you can put it all together, try all of their different techniques out, see what works best for you, and then it just makes you a better rider overall. All the other schools that I visited, their programs weren't as developed, or I didn't feel like I would get as much out of that program as I would here at Findlay.
Awesome. So next question is, what do you guys do when you're not at the barn?
We're at the barn quite a bit, but when I get home, I try to get all my homework done. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, so sometimes it's like all in one night. But I try to spend a lot of time with my friends. I really am glad that I chose to stay in the dorms after my freshman year. I was in the dorms freshman and sophomore year, and it was really good because I could always go home from the barn, get my schoolwork done, and then it was a really great way to connect and make friends. I'm still friends with everybody from my dorm. We all have a big group chat. It's really great. So that's what I like to do when I got home. After my sophomore year, I moved out and was able to live off campus. So when I get home, I really just like to, relax, chill out a little bit, and get ready for the next morning.
I think it's really easy to spend a whole lot of time at the barn, and I do, but I also think that you can find a balance with a social life as well. I really like to spend a lot of time with friends, just like Jamie said. I think that's an important aspect of college, and some of the ways that you can do that are the movie theater here. We have an ice skating rink. It's called the Cube. You can go ice skating. And then I'm also here during the summers, so we have a balloon festival where it has big hot air balloons that go over Findlay, and you can see that. That's a really cool experience. And then the county fair is during our school year as well. So I always like to go visit that. They have a small rodeo there, they have concerts, and like the horse pulls are there. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in Findlay that are outside of the barn.
And then in addition to that, during the school year, if you're finding yourself that you have a lot of extra time, there's so many things you can do to get involved on campus, including different clubs. Like Jamie was saying how she was involved in horse club. There's a bunch of different clubs that are, if you're interested in, I don't even know, like there's CFFA, I'm not even sure what all of them are, but that is another way to get involved and meet new people as well.
Awesome. We have another question. How is the dorm life? Kind of piggybacking off of that last one.
It's not bad. There's a bunch of different options. The freshman dorms are split up between girls and boys, so the room sizes aren't bad. You just have one other roommate, which you can either choose who you want to live with if you meet somebody ahead of time and say like, hey, I want to live with this person, or you could do a randomized, and they'll just like pick someone for you. The bathrooms are like community bathrooms and showers, but they're not that bad. It's not bad.
So this might be a little weird, but one of my biggest concerns when I was coming is that everyone said, oh, it's a community bathroom. And so you actually don't have to shower with other people. There are individual showers. So if that's a concern, but that was one of my biggest concerns.
Oh my goodness. I said, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've met some of my best friends living in the dorms. It's just, you meet best friends for life there, I think. It's a really great way to meet people, especially outside the major.
yeah, I think it's an experience you should have for sure.
I can vouch for that as well. If you guys didn't know, I was a student here as well. So I was also in the Western Equestrian program, and I am still the 6 students that I became friends with my first week of freshman year are still my 6 best friends all these years later. So that is something special. We have time for a couple more questions. So if you guys want to drop in a couple more questions, you can. Another question that I have is, how is transportation to the farm? And how are the shuttles to the farm? And is that convenient?
I never personally used a shuttle because I was fortunate enough to have my own car, but I do know some people that do use the shuttles, and they have a bus schedule that they hand out, and I think all the times correspond really well with when you need to be at the farm, and it's there every day, so it's something that you can rely on.
Yeah, I took the shuttle my freshman year, the first part of it actually. And it's not that bad. You just have to make sure that you get all of your work done at the farm in a timely manner. If you're slow at cleaning stalls, you need to schedule for that because the bus isn't going to wait for you because everybody else has a schedule to keep as well. So it's relatively convenient. You're going to get there on time for your class and you're going to leave at a reasonable time. But just as long as you keep track of your own schedule, then it works really well. But parking is free at Findlay, so that was another really good selling point. And freshmen can have vehicles, so that's a really great thing about Findlay.
And free laundry.
That too.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you guys for joining us today and giving your perspective. We are all very excited to have you guys join us here at the Western Farm and at the University of Findlay. If you guys have any questions at all, please reach out to me. My name is Brandon Morin. I'm the admissions counselor for Animal Science and Equestrian Studies. So you can email me at morinb@findlay.edu. Also, you can call or text me anytime. If you shoot me an email, my phone number will come up too. So if you guys have any questions at all, please reach out. I can get you in contact with Art or Mary anytime, or with any of our 3 wonderful students here. They'd be happy to chat with you in an email. But hopefully you can all come and visit. I truly believe that once you see it, you guys will fall in love just like the 4 of us did. And it really is something special. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure that you jump into our English farm session, which is next, and that'll be at 3 o'clock. So in that session, Mary will be back on with Rusty Miller, our Director of English Equestrian Studies. If we still have a couple hours before that, so if you guys don't have the link to that, shoot me a quick email, and I'll get that link over to you so you can log in for that session. All right, so thank you guys so much, and have a safe rest of your day.